Imagine waking up, turning on your faucet, and not knowing if the water will poison your family. That's not a dystopian future. That's happening today, in America, right now, March of 2025. According to CNN's recent investigation, more than 45 million Americans are now impacted by unsafe drinking water. That's 1 in 7 people. Kids brushing their teeth in lead-tainted tap water, families boiling water just to cook pasta, elderly citizens being told, well, just don't drink it, while officials debate whose responsibility it is. This isn't just a health crisis, it's a moral one. Because while contaminated water flows into homes, we're fed recycled excuses and infrastructure bills that stall out in endless gridlock. When you try to call your local representative and no one answers, when you're told there's no money to fix your pipes, but somehow there's always money for political ads, when your child gets sick and you still don't get clear answers, you realize the system isn't broken, it's working exactly as it was built, to ignore you. In 2021, a bipartisan infrastructure bill promised $55 billion for water improvements. Yet here we are in 2025, and the EPA data reveals only 22% of those funds have actually reached communities in need. Meanwhile, state governments have diverted infrastructure funds to pet projects while pipes continue to leach toxins into drinking water. The Republican solution? Just privatize more water systems and hope companies do the right thing, while also trying to maximize profits. Isn't that why we have regulations in the first place? Because companies have proven they can't be trusted when profits are on the line? Yeah, then there's the democratic answer. More federal oversight without addressing the bureaucracy and the fierce need for solutions, like 10 years ago. Both approaches share the same fatal flaw. They exclude the people who actually live with contaminated water from having a real voice. What happened in Flint wasn't just a technical failure, it was an ethical one. Officials switched water sources without engaging the community's own experts, the doctors, teachers, and engineers who could have identified the risks. By the time pediatricians found elevated lead levels in children's blood, thousands had already been exposed. This pattern repeats everywhere. Officials making life-altering decisions for thousands of people without ever asking what trade-offs they're willing to accept. That's not democracy. It's paternalism at best, and deeply unethical at worst. Think about what this means for someone in Flint, where the crisis has dragged on for over a decade, or in Jackson, Mississippi, where entire neighborhoods still boil their water. Parents feel helpless watching their children drink from bottled water because the tap isn't safe. This is where stakeholders' voice comes in. We started from first principles with an obvious question. What if the people who have to live with the consequences actually had a voice in those decisions? A real voice with real power. The answer took 7 years, and we call it the policy creation system, the core of the stakeholders' voice movement. A movement that puts citizens, just like you, directly in control of government policy. Now I know that sounds impossible, but it's amazing what you can do when you combine cutting-edge technology with first principles thinking. Here's how it works. First, we gathered the expertise already present in your local community. Doctors, engineers, teachers. This expertise is transformed into accessible information so you can understand complex trade-offs and make informed decisions about the future of your community. Next, our process ensures real community power. After building expert consensus, we create modules in the policy creation system that make complex information easy to understand and also interactive. Once community participation closes, we create legislation that truly reflects the community's will with no hidden BS. Our representatives then fight for passage and ensure implementation exactly as intended. They don't spend time fundraising. They focus entirely on delivering results. Lastly, our accountability tracking ensures implementation happens with transparency. In Flint, officials use testing methods that minimized lead detection. Our system makes such deception almost impossible. That's what hyper-responsive governance looks like. A system that treats you like a stakeholder in your own future, not a statistic. Let's be clear. Nobody's asking for miracles. They're asking for clean water. That shouldn't be political or controversial. Look at what's happening across America. In Toledo, families can't use their tap due to forever chemicals. In California's Central Valley, farm workers' communities suffer from nitrate-contaminated water. In the Northeast, arsenic levels exceed safety standards while budget constraints delay treatment. These aren't statistics. They're families making impossible choices between paying for bottled water or risking their children's health. Making decisions that harm thousands without their informed consent, especially now that we have the policy creation system, isn't just a failure in governance, it's a moral failure. Our innovative system solves this ethical crisis by making it possible, for the first time in history, to truly gather meaningful, informed consent from entire communities on complex issues, and then actually turn that consent into solutions that get implemented. Unfortunately, no one is coming to save us. Join the movement. Become a stakeholder in your own future. Your consent matters. Your voice matters. Clean water can't wait, and neither can having a real voice in our democracy. Join us. Join me right now at stakeholdersvoice.com because we can do so much more together.